All right, and we're live, Mr. Deadman. Mr. Deadman Show. No, Deadman Stone Podcast. We have Becky, we have SK.
Hey.
See, not even call them co-hosts anymore. We should all be equal, right? Equality. Right?
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Glad we're on the same page.
Training wheels are off.
Training wheels are off, motherfuckers. Okay, and we also have Mack's Paranormal. I actually said that right. I thought I said I was trying to mess it up, but I said it right. Mack's Paranormal. How you doing?
I'm disappointed.
Hey, pretty good, man. Yeah, you got it right.
Dang it.
I'm disappointed.
Could have called him Mackie Boy or Big Mac. Totally missed it, man. God.
Well, I had a bunch of nicknames growing up.
Oh, I bet.
Like A-Mac, Mac Truck, Mac Killer, and then
Mac and cheese.
All of that, yes. Anything.
Oh, I like mac and cheese. Sorry.
It's good.
That derailed me,
Oh, well. So, Becky, do we have any things we need to announce real fast? Any ads or anything we got to get taken care of?
No.
Okay. So, we're good there. One announcement, though, for sure. Tonight, look, this is the week of giving. This is the season of giving, but this week we'll be giving things out Monday, Wednesday, Friday during our shows. Tonight, we're giving out 2 copies of Years In 47, Bo Chappell's book.
Oh.
And some digital copies of Trespass. To win this, to win a copy, at least to have a chance to win it, you gotta just tell us an embarrassing Christmas gift you received, of course, on Christmas. So just tell us that in the live chat, okay? There'll be a scroll text to remind everybody what's going on. So yeah. Other than that, I guess we're just ready to roll right into it. Let's do Let's do the news thing first. Boo. Let's learn something.
Well, okay. I have found the Christmas gift to end all Christmas gifts.
Oh.
Ready?
No.
Am I ready?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I think so.
Well, you know how you ate bull balls? Well, I've got one for you that I'm not even sure that you'd want to eat. There's a company that makes edible anuses out of chocolate. And they're cast from your very own butthole.
Why?
So this would be definitely a winner for the free giveaway.
Could you give this away?
Well, they come in
No, I mean,
milk,
if somebody
chocolate,
got this...
and dark chocolate. You know, this would be one of those things of where I would say, re-gift.
To who?
Oh, I can think of some people I would mail it to.
Okay, now let me ask you. If you didn't know what it was and you opened the wrapper and you saw it, like...
Yeah, you kind of know.
You kind of know. There's no way. I mean, you can give it to it.
Jesse, have you seen them?
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now on the screen.
Yeah, I think that you would know what they were, or you would. I don't know. It looks like a really wrinkly Pac-Man.
You look at this. You look at the model in the ad, and she has us look like, I'm going to get you for this, motherfucker.
Oh, and by the way, let me change the image.
Do you see him looking there? He's looking and going, I don't know if I got enough chocolate.
Let me change the image to what they do to make it. This is classic. There's so much to this. Oh my god. So you could give it to a blind man. They would eat it.
What's the fun of that?
Well, you could be like a blind man's eating ass.
You know, this would make a rather controversial white elephant gift at the company party.
It would be.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No.
Would that fall under sexual harassment? I mean, like if it was the boss's ass.
Oh my god.
Would they go around and try and match them up? See who gave them?
Whose ass is this?
Oh my
okay.
god.
In this image, by the way, you see this woman and she's oh my god, what the fuck? But the thing to me is the old man that is
in the life ring on the wall, right?
It's a
Captain.
Well, he's looking at her like, I'm not sure we've got enough chocolate.
You weren't supposed to have any meals before this. Definitely not any coffee.
Yeah.
Oh.
But check this out. Check around the top of her thigh. His fucking hair goes down to her body.
Wait a minute. She might have eaten one too.
Yeah.
Nope. His hair goes down past his ass.
Oh, it does. I didn't notice that. That's his hair back there?
That's somebody's.
Well, somebody's, and if it's hers, I don't want to know about it.
Oh, so this is like a long-haired hippie. This guy made a lot of bad decisions. Okay. Oh, man. So let this be a Christmas gift, guys. Let this be a Christmas gift. You like it?
Who are you giving it to?
Apparently this woman did it. I mean...
Okay, well, she did it, but that doesn't mean it was a good idea now, does it?
I don't know.
Okay, Jesse, let's just ask. I'm just going to ask this. Jesse, who would you give your chocolate butthole to?
I don't think there's anybody I could give it to.
Say me.
Trust me, no one wants my chocolate butthole. I'd have to give it away to a blind kid or as a prank. Maybe the homeless guy. I'll give it to the homeless guy down the road. He's always asking for change. I can give him that. Here you go. Have some chocolate ass.
This the captain in this picture. He's thinking, in Russia, I was doctor. Now I do this.
Did you see the picture on down of the one where he's doing the guys?
Is that a Trump? Is it? No. Wait, I'm looking at the picture below the thighs. It looks like a Trump head or something. You see it?
Oh, the drawing?
Yeah. It's weird. I don't know.
He's a model too, so you know.
Yeah, there's like a sketch
on the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who that looks like?
Who?
It's gonna take me a while to think of this.
I haven't stared at chocolate.
Cassidy. Looks like David Cassidy's dad.
Okay, I can see it.
Oh, he's disgusting.
Man, I've been staring at this chocolate ass for a while. Let's change subject, guys. Let's
You can also have them cast in bronze or gold.
Perfect.
But you can't.
That's
eat
just
gold.
what I want is a gold asshole.
Well,
I bet some.
All right. What's the next story? We got two today because we keep our news segment short for you guys. We're trying to balance it. Trying to balance the show.
Well, it appears that Amazon has a issue.
Yeah, what's the issue?
With bear repellent accidents.
What?
How do you mean accidents?
Well, 24 Amazon warehouse employees in New Jersey were hospitalized Wednesday, one in critical condition after a robot punctured a can of bear repellent.
Oh, shit.
Well, they say it was an accident.
Yeah, it was a robot.
The robot was like,
Skynet is,
And Amazon. And Amazon will be the place where it would start.
54 workers were exposed to the fumes.
Well, great. They don't have to worry about bears.
Well, they weren't worried about breathing either.
Maybe the robot was trying to help him out. Maybe the robot sensed there was like a bear nearby or something, or coming close, and was like, all right, we got to take this out.
This was in New Jersey, bear in mind.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. It could be. Could be. I don't know. Let's ask.
Maybe the cast from Jersey Shores was visiting.
Let's ask Mack. He's our paranormal guy. Are there such things as ghost bears?
Ghost bears? I mean, I have no idea. I've never met one personally, so.
I mean, I would want to wager, why not? If there's ghost humans, why couldn't there be ghost dogs, ghost cats, and ghost bears?
I mean, there's a lot of that. People will hear that because again, what I guess a lot of paranormal investigators believe is in like, the law of conservation of energy. Like energy is constant, and it just changes to one form to another. So it just transfer that energy. So whoever dies, that energy isn't just gonna like stay constant. It's gonna move around. So, I mean, yeah, it's possible. I know there's people that have caught like cats and dogs that they don't have a cat or dog in their house, so it's not very common.
Like, I hate cats. I've been trying to get rid of this one, but I swear it's a ghost now. Like, I've been trying to throw it out the window every time.
Zombie cat.
Yeah.
Do you not remember the time that we were doing the podcast and I said, "Oh, I hear your cat," and you were like, "My cat's not inside."
Yeah, it's not inside. It was outside. I threw it outside. It was gone for like a week. It came back in. I got it. I was like, "What are you doing, your cat? You were already hit by a car. How can you be back in here?" I'm not a bad guy, guys. I was doing an experiment. I was trying to see
9 lives, remember?
Yeah. I was testing out the lives of cats.
This news story gave me an idea, Jesse.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
That instead of the hot pepper chip, you could do something with bear repellent.
Let's spray it on me?
Or pepper spray.
Or pepper spray. Which they're both, it's just kind of the same thing. But
are you telling me to spray myself in the face with bear repellent?
No, I
didn't say it. You said it.
I
don't think you could do it to yourself.
I don't know if I can. Hell, that might actually put me in the hospital.
I couldn't do it to you.
Well, I don't think it would. I've seen videos of people who do this to each other, and it can be painful and kind of blinding for a while. But it doesn't. It might be quite startling the first time, but apparently you can actually kind of get used to it.
Huh. Weird.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Well, maybe. I'll give that a hard think about.
No.
No, dude.
There's people on Twitter that already be like, dude, Carolina Reaper challenge? That's so 2018. 2018's almost over. You need to up the ante, dude. You need to make it like, someone said pig balls. I'm like, I already did balls. What am I do? Like balls? Like glaze?
That's what I'm saying.
Carolina Reaper?
Pepper spray.
Huh. Maybe. Pepper spray myself in the face.
Mythbusters did a thing with cayenne pepper to see if it would actually keep bears away from a car full of had a cooler full of food.
Yeah.
And it totally did. They used like this giant Costco gallon size
sweet
bucket of stuff, and they sprinkled a circle around it just like some witch's hex thing, and the bear went up there. He would not go across that line.
Wow. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Man, keep that on your hunts. Okay. Well, all right.
It's a real.
So I think now it's good to roll into horrible covers. All right, Mack. Feel free to watch the stream. Just make sure it's mute. We won't do all of them, but there's a few. They're definitely worth it. I think you will enjoy these. Okay. Are you ready?
Okay.
Are you ready for your mind to be blown?
Yeah. Send them all now.
All right.
Please do the Hall of the Mountain King first.
Hall of the Mountain King. Okay.
Oh no, that sounds like an awesome
That's a good metal song, actually. What's the metal band? Savantage? Is that the name of? Oh man.
Didn't Zeppelin do something like that?
Who?
Didn't Zeppelin do a song like that?
I think so. Okay, here we go.
I don't know.
Let me pull it up. Boom. There we go. K.R. Columbus.
Okay, first of all, y'all want to decide whether this is real or not.
Yeah. Help us out, chat. Is this real or is it fake? Is it fake or is it fucked?
And don't cheat.
Don't cheat. Is it fake or fucked?
What do you say, Mac?
I can't even. It's not showing up.
Oh, it takes a little while.
It
takes a little
Okay,
while.
I was like, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah. Ooh. Don't worry.
Okay. He looks a little surprised in this picture.
Yes,
well,
he does.
you know,
He actually looks like somebody walked around the corner and caught him doing something.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Mom, don't you ever knock?
yeah. No, Mom, I wasn't doing that. I was reading. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. And I like
This guy ain't the king of anything.
No, man. He's the mountain king. He was the mountain king, but now he's like in his mom's basement, and he totally has a neck beard, and his hair is just all over the place, bedhead. Shit.
Well, I like how his head doesn't match the size of his body.
Well, you know,
he's got a little head.
Well, I mean, he's put on weight. You know,
a lot of weight.
A lot of weight. Look at that thigh, man.
Takes a lot of work to get there. I mean,
not everybody gets a proportionally fat head when they put on weight.
Yeah, I like that guy. See, you could be in my situation and just have a big head and a big body, which I can't show here because YouTube won't
You're
like
so
it.
full of shit.
I show you my gut, it's over. Be flagged. But I love the caption here: burly, sexual, and full of nostalgia. I'm not sure what the nostalgia is about.
Hardcore Uncut Edition.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Author's
now that
Definitive Edition. Look at that. So there's multiple editions of
the
this.
author's cut.
This is
Damn
it.
those editors.
That's just wrong.
All right.
Oh my god.
All right.
Did they decide whether it was real or not?
I don't know.
My first thought was that it is.
Is it real? Is it real, Becky?
There's something about it.
It is.
It's real? Oh man.
It really is. It's on Amazon. I'm looking at it on Amazon right now.
And how much?
I'm not sure why.
Is it rated?
3.5 stars.
Shoot.
Whoa.
Damn.
2 reviews.
Oh man. One's a lover, one's a hater. One's probably 5 stars.
One of them says boring, and the other one says.
What were you?
How
is this boring? What?
One of them says boring, 2
Okay.
stars. The other one is 5 stars and says fun.
Oh.
Great review.
Yep.
Well,
it's reviewed by Cavemen. Fun.
Well, it's R. Chapman, and it's a verified purchase too.
Wow.
Oh.
How does the Mountain King have nostalgia when it doesn't look like they have any kind of written language? And I'm presuming no written language by the fact that they haven't figured out clothes yet.
Or maybe they did figure out clothes. He's just nude. He looks like. I mean, he looks like he's doing something down there. I don't know with what. I mean, he's he doesn't have. I don't know if it's because he doesn't have the gift. He's not gifted, or it's just the guts covering a lot of it. What's going on down there? But okay, Mac. Mac, what do you think of this cover? You like it?
So I looked it up after I found out it was real.
Yeah.
And what makes it funny is that I get K.R. Columbus is the author, like someone made this for him, and he was like, "Yep, that's what I want on my book." It's like they both were in agreement that this was going to be
this is the look I want.
Yeah,
this is going to convey the angst and anguish of my soul that I poured into this story.
And it might be a good book. Who knows? But like, I just want to know what the examples he didn't make. If like,
we're gonna know.
What are the covers he rejected?
Yeah, I want to see those and see how they compare to this one.
Oh yeah. I tell you what, if depending how things play themselves out, I might give myself a copy of this book and read it on the show.
Man, there's a dare.
Or it could be a holiday gift,
Yeah, look at that.
Along with your chocolate asshole.
Yeah.
Oh.
Full circle.
Forget
all right,
bear repellent. Read the book.
Tarzan.
All right, let's do one more. Okay, if we had to do one more, Tarzan.
Tarzan.
Okay, Tarzan. All right.
Tarzan's a real story, Becky.
Okay, but is this book real? Is this book real? It looks like a comic.
I know the answer to this.
Okay, I gotta say this is real. There's no way the artist spent this much time without it being real. This is real.
It's real.
What? For real? Look at him.
Real.
Look at that monkey. That monkey really likes him.
He looks like he likes that monkey too.
Yeah. They're best friends. Wait. Becky, what are you implying?
Calls her Gina.
That's gross.
I'm implying that they might be cuddle buddies.
Well, I just think they're just best friends.
So in that gap between Tarzan's right forearm and Gina the monkey, what is that kind of pinkish area there? That is not more abs.
Oh, that's like I would think that's a
breechcloth, I would assume.
A loincloth?
Loincloth, breechcloth, whatever.
But it's kind of weird looking, right?
Yeah, if you start staring at it, it's like it starts staring back at you, and you start seeing shapes.
And the monkey's going, "Please, no, no."
Oh no!
And Tarzan, by the way, for a man who was raised in the jungle by apes, has become quite the Fletcher.
Yeah, he has. Like his hair is kept. And he doesn't. I like how why is Tarzan portrayed like to not have any like a beard or anything?
Facial hair.
Yeah. Tarzan would have facial hair.
Yeah, totally, and long hair.
Oh yeah, long haired, all the way down to his ass, like the butt doctor.
Right.
Wait, what's going on?
What happened?
Wait, what's going on?
Huh?
Oh, sorry. What was that? That was weird.
What was what?
There was a weird you didn't hear it? That was weird. I heard it on my side. Anyway. Okay. Yeah. Well. So this is real. Huh.
That's something.
Look at that. 2 real books. Okay. Let's see. You know what? I think now's a good time to get into Mack. Hey, Mack, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now tell us, who are you and what do you do?
Well, I'm currently still in school and kind of just always been interested in paranormal. There's a lot of weird things that happened to me growing up that I was like, I kind of put it off as in my head. Mm-hmm. But after I did like some investigations and got some responses, that's when I kind of like changed my mind and went from skeptic to like being a believer.
Okay.
So, yeah, just something I do in my spare time.
Okay. So why the paranormal?
It wasn't him though.
Well, the first.
I've been over there smelling.
Well, the first story is we used to move around a lot because we were really poor growing up. So like we would move around in new houses, and each house got a little bit better. like say the dishwasher would work, or we had a refrigerator. And so this one house was like really cheap, and it had the works, you know, working AC and everything. And we asked the landlord, like, you know, why is it such a great price? And they were like, well, it used to be a daycare center in like the 30s, and so a few kids died in this house. And at that time, we were like really skeptical. We're like, well, nothing's happened to us. We'll still take it because it's a pretty nice house. And at first, nothing really happened, I would say the first month. But then after that, this house had a very long hallway because, you know, every haunted house has a long hallway.
Of course.
Mine,
long hallway, basement, attic, you know, something there.
Yeah, and it was just... We didn't have anything paranormal except footsteps. We would hear footsteps going up and down the hallway late at night. Okay. And it wasn't just me hearing it. The whole family would. And so me and my sister would sleep with my mother and father's room a lot. Well, my dad worked late one night, and it was just me, my mom, and my sister. The whole house was dark, and I wanted to get a drink of water. So I walked into the hallway, and I turned right. And at the end of the hallway, even though it was dark, I could pick out like a small figure, like a shadow, like an apparition. And so I'm just looking at it, and then it starts running towards me. And I would say it got about a foot away from me, and I put my hand on the light switch. And as soon as it got that close, I finally, you know, flipped on the switch. And as soon as the light came on, it like disappeared with the light. And that's what kind of started my unhealthy relationship with the paranormal, because it's what I saw and felt, and I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just in my head. And I know I sent a link to a recording I did, and that kind of just like solidified all the things that kind of happened in between then and that investigation.
I see. And why do you say it's a unhealthy relationship?
Oh, because like I would growing up, I would just read everything I could about ghosts. I remember growing up, I checked out Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I think everyone who loves paranormal read that book growing up, and I read all 3 of them. And it's just fascinating to me, because it's just one of those things you really don't know what happens. And when you get evidence and you hear, you know, responses, it kind of excites you or might make you scared, but you kind of go towards it. But the recording that I sent, it was one of my first investigations I did with my brother. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like an amateur one. We were like watching Ghost Adventures for like 3 hours. And we were like, let's go do our own investigation, because our downtown, the area I'm in, is super haunted. And my brother was like, yeah, I'll join you. And so we went to Best Buy and bought a recorder. And we went to this place, or this tree, where they used to hang criminals, because right next to that tree is where the old jailhouse was.
Yeah.
And something went down called the Belton Massacre. You can look into it. Pretty much like there's 10 criminals in this jailhouse, and they committed crimes like theft, horse theft, murder, and robbery. And so what the town did is they all dressed up in robes and cloaks. They went inside the jailhouse, and they shot all 10 of them in their cell.
Oh, shit.
Like I said, yeah, they like full vigilante. Everyone knew it was in on it, and it's what's called the Belton Massacre. So me and my brother were like, let's go under the tree, because we didn't have permission to go in the jailhouse, and just start asking questions. And it was really late, and I say about 30 minutes in, we felt really, I don't know, kind of stupid, because there's just 2 guys underneath the tree asking questions. Mm-hmm. And so we got kind of like sick of it, and I was like, all right, let me just do one more recording.
In one moment, I could play it. I know you sent it to me. For some reason, the file was pretty low on my side. And like I said, the volume is cranked up. I'm going to crank up the volume here on my mixer, like super loud. I hope no notifications pop up, because it'll be blaring. I apologize in advance. Here we go. And I'm going to play this file he sent me. Okay?
Yes.
And y'all be the judge. Rewind it. Here we go.
How did you die? How old are you? What is your name? Were you a criminal? Who killed you? Did you do anything bad? Are you still around?
Okay. Now,
So
what was happening in that clip? Give us some context.
So I asked, and it's kind of weird after I explain this. So I asked, "Were you a criminal?" And towards the end of my question, you'll hear like a really heavy breathing, and I thought that was a car, but you can hear cars in the background, so it's breathing. Then I asked, "What is your name?" And you hear someone say Jay, and then I asked, "Were you a criminal?" And you'll hear say yes, a very prolonged, heavy yes. And then at the very end of the clip, my last question I ask, "Are you still around?" And you'll hear someone, like I'll click it off and you hear someone say dead. And that's what you'll hear. So if you'll replay it, you'll hear that.
Now, what about for those, I mean, okay, listening to that, there'll be some be like, well, it sounds like, would you say heavy breathing could just be like wind blowing against the mic? I mean, yeah. Was it windy that day?
Oh, it's super windy.
Okay.
So how do you tell the difference?
Well, I mean, because like you could hear the wind in the background, then it's a very distinct heavy. And then my next question is, "What is your name?" And you'll hear a response say Jay.
Man, I didn't hear any of that stuff.
You didn't hear Jay?
I didn't hear any of that stuff. I really didn't.
If you, like I said, replay it, you'll hear Jay, and then "Were you a criminal?" and you'll hear a yes.
Okay. Now, I try to keep an open mind on this stuff. I really do. I mean, I've dabbled in the paranormal myself. I've numerous guests, and we talk. I know I play around. You know, I played around with the Ouija board. Did some things I probably shouldn't talk about.
Oh,
played
man.
around with Charlie. I'm crazy like that, you know? And later on, I want to ask you how I can summon the ghost of Patrick Swayze, because I want to learn how to do a roundhouse kick, okay? I want to...
You don't need a ghost to teach you that. They're like living people.
I want Patrick Swayze to tell me. I want to be able to rip someone's throat out. Like he did at the end of Roadhouse. Shit. Okay.
If I get a haunting here, I'm going to kick you. It's going to be your fault.
Oh, it'd be the best part. Let's get a haunting here. I want a ghost on the stream. Let's get a ghost on the stream. Okay. But with that said, having heard that clip, I don't really hear this stuff either. I'm not sure if you're wanting to hear it, but I'm not ruling you out. I'm just ruling that out. So, because I looked at your YouTube channel and you talk about different stories. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about your personal experiences and these ghost hunts that you go on. I mean, yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah. So the thing is with that one, with the reporting, one of the criminals that were shot in the jailhouse, his name was J.S. McDonald. So that's what kind of like it brought everything together, and it was just kind of weird hearing that. But some other stories where growing up, one specifically, my grandparents kind of live in the woods, and it was like really creepy, and we used to run through it all the time. I remember there was one time I was sitting on the porch, and I was kind of looking. I was at the edge of the porch, and I was looking at the ground, and I could hear footsteps coming behind me, and just heavy footsteps, like shaking the whole porch. And then I thought it was my uncle, so I called his name out, and then I didn't get a response, and they finally like stopped right behind me, and I called my uncle out again, still no response. And this whatever was standing behind me like casted a shadow, like overcasted me. And so I was like, why is my uncle not responding? So then I turned around and there was just nobody there. And that was kind of weird because one of my uncles performed a seance at my grandparents' house that we were unaware about, and we kind of found out like years after that he was doing stuff like that.
A seance?
Yes, like trying to communicate with the dead, because he had some friends that said that they communicate with the dead, and they were just trying to, I don't know if they're trying to get Patrick Swayze, but they were definitely trying to get some kind of
That would have been a little before
response.
his time, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like things like that, and pretty much going on investigations and hearing things. With your Ouija board, did anything come of it, or is that just kind of something you did? And
well, okay.
Aside from his wife kicking his ass?
Yeah, besides my wife kicking my ass, and the house almost catching on fire. Coughing up blood one night. No, that didn't happen. No,
oh man.
There's some stories connected with that. This one chick I dated, she was heavy into that stuff, like Ouija. She was also into Wicca, things like that. And she was like, "Don't do this alone. Don't do it by yourself. It's dangerous." I was like, "Why?" So one night I was at my grandma's house. I was just like playing around with the board by myself, waiting for something to happen. Nothing happened. And ever since then, I was like, well, what can I do? Like, what else can I do? Years later, I guess I worked with the courage. I don't play around again, I guess, on a live stream, much like this. I kind of rubbed my genitals on the...
Not kinda. He did.
On the board or the...
Kinda.
On the board.
On the thing.
On the board.
Like fully exposed or just...
Well, yeah, but not on the camera.
Oh, okay.
Like,
so you just kind of...
And did that change the energy of the pointer thingy?
I don't know. I was drunk that night, obviously. It felt like a good idea.
Really?
Likely story.
Yeah. Sober just
we know you
enough.
don't drink.
Right. Not drunk enough though to whip my dick out on the stream. I just had to censor it or whatever. And I wake up like the next day and the house is almost burning down or something. So it could be connected.
It could be that your drunk ass knocked a candle over too.
See, there's more to the story. Yeah, my drunk ass was barbecuing earlier that day on a deck, on the wooden deck.
No, completely unconnected. Yeah.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with that. But that was my experience. So yeah, I do play around, but honestly, I do. I would like to see a ghost. I think I might have seen one. I'm not really sure though. I'm not really sure what I'm looking for.
I think
I saw a ghost once.
What are the circumstances?
Well, I live in southern Indiana, right across the river from Louisville, Kentucky. And the very first year that they had thunder over Louisville, I decided it would be a really bright idea to try to go to Indiana from Kentucky while the fireworks were going off.
Mm.
And so there was a whole lot of traffic and whatnot. And I got over to the Indiana side and was between two exits. And there was a car stopped on the side of the road. And it was that night, of course, and it was a mom and dad and two small children that were walking in front of the car towards the exit. And I got past them, and I thought, man, all this traffic and those two little kids, I need to go back and see if I can help them, you know? So I got off the exit, turned around, got back on, got off the other exit, got back on the interstate, and pulled up in front of them. The friend of mine that was with me got out of the car and walked back towards them. So they're in between our car and their car. okay? And we could see the car, and there is like nothing around. And a semi went past us, flashed his bright lights on, and when they got past us, the car was gone, they were gone, there was nothing there.
What?
I kid you not. I'm not joking. And there's no way they could have gotten on an interstate. There was nothing there. That is the strangest thing that has ever happened to me in my entire life.
Okay.
That's kind of strange. That's strange.
That is a little weird.
A little weird?
Question
Yeah.
time.
No, I was not drinking.
Well, that's one. Did he
I was
dabble
not
with
taking drugs.
Well, some people don't consider the devil's lettuce to be a drug. Okay, so gotta ask.
Mushrooms are all natural.
Yep.
No.
No. Are you sure you didn't do any intensive yoga to get some DMT into your system? I have to ask.
Well, no, I didn't.
Okay. So that is one hell of a story, Becky. You saw Ghost Kid. You saw. Wait.
A ghost family.
A ghost family and a
It
ghost
was really-
And a ghost
right?
car.
It was
Ghost
freaky.
car.
I mean,
ghost
I'm not kidding you.
car. Mac, is that possible?
Yes. I mean, a lot of people have seen stuff like that, and there's stories about like actually cars being haunted. So I mean, it's definitely not something that's not unheard of.
I mean, I just heard about it now, and
it freaked me the hell out. I mean, I wouldn't drive that stretch of the interstate for a long time.
So, and your brother was walking towards this car?
Yeah.
And it just poof.
The semi went past us, and when it got to us, it flashed its bright lights on. I mean, you couldn't see anything.
Right?
And
Kind of blinded you for a second.
Right. And then when it got past us and my eyes were adjusted, they were gone. Everything was gone. And it was like, the stretches of that interstate where, there's a hill on the side of the interstate, and it's, there's nothing there. I mean, it's not residential on the side or anything. There was no place these people could have gone, much less have gotten their car back on the interstate. Because, I mean, it was just, the semis were flying by.
Okay,
I
feel it's my duty here to take up the skeptical side of this discussion, because you all are on the same side here.
Well, I'm playing devil's advocate. Okay, I'm on both sides. Yeah. I'm on everyone's side right now.
The devil's advocate is on a side. It's not all sides.
Okay, well, I'm all sides. I'm on everyone's side.
So, let me tell you some reasons why I'm skeptical.
Okay.
So growing up, one of my first memories was playing on the fresh dirt of an open grave in the graveyard that was literally behind our house.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it was so new. The graveyard was old, but the house was new, and there was not even a fence up yet. I think the fence went up pretty quickly after that. So this was an old, small but old cemetery going back to the 1850s. And so I lived there for all through my high school years, and it was always there. It was a creepy as fuck graveyard, and I spent a lot of time looking out there at night and walking through there during the day, and nothing ever happened there. Anywhere I could see there, anytime I was in, because I would go with friends and my brother, and we would go there in the middle of the night, and nothing ever.
No.
Ever.
What did you do to try to provoke the ghosts or spirits?
Making out, would that provoke them?
I mean,
That's about the worst thing.
Making out on top of a grave, that could be.
I mean, we weren't out there we were just there trying to scare our friends.
Yeah.
By making out or going to the graveyard?
Going to the graveyard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, maybe the ghosts were watching. Maybe they were just like, oh,
Yeah, right?
what's going on? Second base, all right.
And I have a friend who believes in the spirits quite a lot, and she was telling me that she was being harassed by these spirits, and they were all over her neighborhood and shit like that. And she said, "You need to come over here because I got them on video.
Okay.
And I want you to see it." And I was like, "Great, I'd love to see that shit." And I get to her place, and she plays these videos, and she goes, "Now watch for this face coming up here." Nothing.
Okay.
And she
didn't see
knew
the face?
she was telling me to look for specific things, and they just weren't there. And I said, "Show me, where is it? I'm not seeing it." And she was like, "But it was there."
So what do you say, Mac? What do you say to that?
I mean, there's a lot of, like, again, what you said earlier, people want to hear what they want to hear. They want to see what they want to see. And I feel like if you're a true kind of investigator, you want to try to debunk it as much as possible. And because as soon as you do that, then you can kind of like have like a dose of, I guess, reality, if that makes sense. So you can be like, yeah, that's maybe it, or it could be this. So now if it's like definite, like in your face, I mean, it's really hard to.
I'm the kind of guy. Yeah, I'm a kind of guy that something that requires belief is not something that I'm interested in. It either is or it isn't. It either can be demonstrated or it can't. And it doesn't require any input, so to speak, from me.
Yeah, and so like it has to be like kind of like definite, especially like I said, a lot of investigators are more skeptical when they find evidence, or even themselves, they try to debunk it, like I said, as much as possible. So it can be nothing like that is literally the only thing that it could be. It could be like a ghost talking or a ghost photo,
Right. So, and I often said, because like I said, I shared here, I've done some crazy things to try to provoke spirits. And there's one time where I think a ghost touched me. I'm being real, I'm not joking. But then all the other times, I don't think anything has ever really happened. So maybe SK shares the same thing as me and an anti-medium. Like, we have ghost repellent like in our blood. It's like,
hey, maybe
like bear repellent.
Yeah,
right.
It's
well,
I'm just asking.
Is that possible?
Well, I mean, I've talked to people like metaphysical science and people that get degrees in this, and they said like kind of reaching out is kind of like making a call. Sometimes they'll pick up, sometimes they won't. And like some investigators, they could do like a whole month and won't catch anything, but like the last 5 minutes, they'll catch something. It's really up to. Imagine if you're dead, you really don't want people bugging you all the time.
Okay. Now,
is that a problem really for dead people?
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know.
Oh God, not another one.
And some people are very susceptible to that. Some people aren't. I guess it just really.
Yeah. Well, I'll go into detail why I think it's, being a ghost would be a fun time if it is something that could possibly happen. Because, but hold on here. So someone in the chat, Nitushi Lakota? I don't know if I said it right. Okay. What's the scariest thing you've ever encountered? So, who wants to go first? Scariest thing.
Online dating.
Being married. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I don't think you are.
Actually, I'm not, You know me too
Seriously, people are far more scary than any ghosty things.
Oh, yeah, I think so too.
Well, and like y'all were talking about a minute ago, y'all are skeptical of things, and I don't. Someone asked me not long ago if I believed in ghosts, and even though I had that experience, I don't know that I necessarily do or don't. I mean, I don't really have an opinion one way or the other about it.
I mean, it's kind of hard because then you have people that are the people that kind of do believe that, that wear all black and dark. It kind of ruins it for people that have experience, because it kind of turns off. But I mean, it's just one of those things like you either do or you don't, and you can either decide to or not. But just know that, like that. Like I said earlier, that energy is going.
I do have a scary story that's ghost related that I could tell. I told it before.
Tell
the older episode. Okay, this has once again. This one girl I was dating.
It's all Becky's fault.
No, it was this Wicca. So that's why to this day, anyone who says they're Wiccan, I'm like, it already raises flags. Like, oh, are you like susceptible to ghosts? Susceptible to ghosts? Are you kind of out there? Are you gonna pull a knife on me later on? Like, what's going on here? Anyway, to spare all the details, we were in my room. Okay, we're dating. We're in my room. Okay, parents aren't home. That's all I'm gonna say. And all of a sudden, she freaked out. She froze up. I'm like, what? And she just stared at my open doorway. And it's like in the middle of it, right? And I was like, what's the problem? She's like, no, there's someone watching us. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no one right there. It's an open doorway. And through the doorway, you can see the living room. There's no one there. No one. I could see through just fine. She's like, no, there's a shadow figure right there. I'm like, and I'm trying to, I'm torn between, well, okay, what? It's totally killed the vibe, killed the mood. Like, what's going on here?
Why?
So I dismount. And I'm looking, I'm like,
dismount.
I'm looking at the doorway. I'm like,
oh, Nelly.
there's nothing there. And I kid you not, she covers herself up. She's all scared. She's getting close to me. Like, no, it's there. It's right there. It's right there. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And the more I start questioning her, the more she was like, felt like a victim of, I don't know, me not taking her seriously or something. I'm just like, but then she got to my head. I was like, wait, maybe there is something there, because why would she be this scared? So then I started staring longer and harder. Okay, and I started to see it.
Oh boy, this is going south.
I could faintly see it, but then I was like, maybe I'm just seeing things because I want to see it. Yeah. I was scared that night. I was also scared that she was gonna, like, I don't know, say something else about our experience. Be like,
why was the door open?
Well, there's no one home. No one home. Just leave all the doors open. I don't care. I think no one was home. What if someone was there?
Sound like somebody was there, yeah.
I don't know.
I'd say the scariest thing, and it's not really like ghost related, is more like a pressure dream I had. That was really terrifying.
What's a pressure dream?
A pressure dream.
Where like I was half awake, half asleep, and I was trying to wake up, but my body was completely paralyzed.
Oh, that's a
dream paralysis.
Sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis.
Okay.
Which happens every night, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Does it?
It's a stage of sleep. It's a stage of sleep where the body paralyzes you, so you don't get up and move around. And,
I think, isn't it stage 3 REM?
Yeah, you're not supposed to be waking up in that state, but sometimes people do.
And that's where you get sleepwalking and things like that, right?
No, it's to prevent sleepwalking.
Yeah,
in that particular stage. But it's a normal part of a full sleep cycle.
Yeah.
It's really, it can be freaky if you wake up in the middle of that stuff.
Yeah, I was like, because I knew I was trying to wake. I couldn't move, I couldn't yell, and I was trying. It felt like forever. And finally I came out of it, and it just like I couldn't go back to sleep after. I didn't know what, or the first time I was like really young when that happened.
A lot of the people who have reported abduction type of alien abduction type scenarios where some people, aliens come in or demons come in and attack them and they can't get away. These are dreams that they have in the middle of this sleep paralysis phase.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
And that's what I like about when the science comes in and kind of like people who are skeptical like kind of debunk it, and and it's facts that kind of come in. And so yeah,
I'm only skeptical to the point because I just haven't had any experience to counter that, right? If I if I ever came face to face with something that, like, if I saw something, I wouldn't be able to, that I couldn't explain, then I don't know that I would be a believer, but I'd certainly chalk that up amongst the inexplicable.
Yeah. Have you ever allowed yourself to be, besides living near a cemetery, you ever like stayed somewhere haunted or anything like that?
Yeah. So when I was married, we went on a week vacation and stayed in a hotel that was supposedly very haunted. The only people creeping around were the other guests.
Oh.
Yeah, we had nothing
sure?
at all unusual.
Are you sure you didn't hear any footsteps that you couldn't like place with someone?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay. Now, then again, SK did live next to a cemetery and didn't see anything. I mean, you would think, of all places, they would just be there. Especially if you're making out on top of a grave.
Oh my God.
I mean, what else do you have to do? Like, defile the grave?
We would go and find the old caved-in graves and try and look inside of them. Because the old pine boxes.
Yeah.
Every now and then they'd rot and cave in, and so there'd be about a 1 foot depression. And we'd creep over to the edge because as kids, creeping over the edge, like, oh my God, something's gonna come out of there. But all it was just dirt, right? Because it's not like you're gonna see 6 feet down.
No.
Yeah, well, that's great. Along with cemeteries, I don't know if y'all know this, but like prior, I was in the Navy, and we
that's scary.
Yeah, no doubt.
For sure. And I was part of the ceremonial guard, so the people that like hold the flags behind the president and stuff like that.
Cool.
We would do a lot of Arlington National Cemetery. We would do a lot of funerals, like all of us are like hundreds, and the priest, who was in our chapel, he would like say he would pray for us because he said he was scared that a spirit would attach to us. And what his saying was, we were all kind of brush it off. Okay, he's just being weird. And but in the barracks, a lot of unexplained and weird things happen that a lot of people, the chaplain would kind of paint it out because we've been in the cemetery, hours and do like 5 or 6, funerals a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought that was pretty interesting because a lot of people would. There was this one story where this guy, he's never prone to seizures or anything like that, and then all of a sudden one day, his roommate said that he just started acting crazy, and then he finally came out of it, and he was like, "What happened?" He's like, "What do you mean what happened?" He was like, "You were acting crazy," and he was like, "No, that's not what happened," and stuff like that, and people seeing things. There was a couple of people that said they were scratched that night. And we were kind of like, we would just find debunking things like, oh, maybe you scratched yourself. But it would be like scratches like on their backs and stuff, like 3 scratches, which is like terrifying if you do paranormal investigation. A lot of people associate that with like demons get scratched. Mm-hmm. And so
it's also associated with bumping into stuff.
Yeah, and that's another thing we would tell them.
Being clumsy,
like,
yeah.
You're just
because I can give firsthand testimony of finding scratches in my body that I don't know where they came from, but because I bumped into something and at the time didn't think anything of it, so I didn't even record the event in my head.
Exactly. That's what, and a lot of people, that's what we say. We're just like, oh man, you're just buying into like the hype of all of it. And so a lot of weird things, and people had pictures of shadows in their closets and stuff like that. But so it's kind of weird. If once you do like graveyards, and a lot of people say that spirits can attach themselves to you and they kind of like follow you. And that's what kind of happened to my aunt. She was heavy into like the dark arts. She would do spells and Wiccan, just like you said. And there was one time she gets a. They were in the military, so they moved around a lot. There was one night she put my cousins to sleep, and she was walking to her room, and she saw like an apparition run down into the kids' room. And she got scared because she thought it was somebody. And so then she goes in, turns on the light, and my cousins are asleep. And so then she just kind of brushes it off. Well, like a week or so later, they were moving, and she gets a phone call. And so she picks up the phone call, and on the other line, she hears someone say, "I want to come too." And she's like, "Who is this?" And they say, "I want to come too." And then they just... Yeah, exactly. Something like that into that phone.
That would mean something totally different had that person said that in my story. Okay.
Yeah. And the phone goes dead, and like I said, they were moving like that following week, and so she complains about like a child that haunts her, and I was just like, oh, okay.
I mean, every now and then I might see like a blur, like a shadow, but that might just. I mean, what am I looking at? Like, let me say it this way. Okay, if I could be a ghost, if I hang around, whatever, and haunt shit, I totally would. I would haunt everything. Yeah. I would. Right? I would haze people, and I wouldn't care because I'm dead, and. It would just be fun for me. Like Coke machines would be possessed. People's cars, the brakes would be cut. It would be total chaos. So,
yeah, and you're a fairly nice guy. So, what about all that?
Fairly nice.
Fairly nice. I mean, he still wants to cause people to crash and burn.
I don't want him to get. Well, I don't want them to die. They might get hurt, but I don't want them to die
necessarily.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is there's a lot worse people out there who, if they could, would be wreaking all kinds of serious havoc.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, this is true.
Okay, now I'm gonna put this out here.
Like me.
Becky, you're probably haunted by ghosts. You're probably haunted by lots of ghosts.
I might be a ghost. You never know.
You could be.
I was going to say.
Also, just announce real fast. Let's get the likes up to 8. I know it's a Monday, okay? But if we get up to 8 likes, I'll take a shot of Devil's Cut. Like, all right. So, let's make that happen. If we can, that'd be great. All right. Mack.
Yes.
I think you shared the Barbara Ashley story, didn't you, already?
Yeah, Barbara Ashley, yeah.
Okay. What about the Max Dell?
The Max Dell. Oh, so I'm a Texas native, and so I started doing places that I knew about. And Maxdale, Texas is kind of like, it's pretty much a ghost town. And there's a bridge there that's apparently haunted, and there's a cemetery and road. And a lot of people have like urban legends with the bridge. They say if you park your car on the bridge at night, turn off the lights.
You'll get smashed into.
Yeah, and then turn them on. You'll see a man hanging from a noose. And the reason why that is because there's an urban legend that a man hanged himself after he couldn't save his girlfriend, who drowned in the Lampasas River below him. And there's like stories of like a bus crashing, and I do a lot of research because I'm kind of like, on the sense where I want to see if there's any kind of, anything that can back up these urban legend claims. And I didn't find anything about a bus crash or someone hanging themselves. But for the cemetery, there was a woman who committed suicide at the cemetery, and they didn't really give details as of why. And so maybe that could be a reason for the hauntings and paranormal activity. And there's the road that's right next to it. And there's one story where a guy, he crashed off the bridge, a bridge that's close by Maxdale. And then there was another incident where these guys were hunting on private property, and they were driving back. Two guys were in the bed of a truck. They fell out, and by the time the driver and passenger got to the gate, they noticed they weren't there. So then they drive all the way back to retrieve them, and then the cops come, and then as soon as they get to the hospital, one of them was in critical condition, and then one of them was pronounced dead. And the urban legend of this road is that if you look in your rearview mirror late at night and you're driving, you'll see a car you'll see the headlights, then you'll see a car pass you and then just disappear. So that goes with the whole
ghost car.
Yeah, ghost car you told earlier. And one of my friends said that they went out to the road in that area because they were ghost hunting, and they were walking, and they were like, they saw a car coming, and they thought it was going to pass, but it never came. They saw the headlights, and it never passed by them, and they were like, what the? It's just one of those unexplained moments. And so back to your story, it
was the FBI.
Yeah, it could be, maybe a little.
Well, so this is a question that I've had while I've been listening to the stories. It sounds like you do a fair amount to try to explain things away, and not just being completely, pardon the word, gullible, just because something has been experienced doesn't mean there isn't another explanation. So how far do you go with that?
I'll research everything that I can find. I'll even go and for instance, I looked how the bridge was built. I looked up records. I do everything I can, and like I said, to just prove it, because if you believe every single story, kind of credibility is kind of lost. Then it makes it less satisfying of a story, because if you can have actual evidence or some kind of history behind it, I think it appeals more to people into believing, the stories. So behind every urban legend, there's probably some kind of real story, but it's not exactly what you think it is. And I just, because I love hearing stories, and I love hearing people's real stories, and I'll listen to anybody's. I'll kind of dig a little bit deeper, and you kind of have to take the word for it. But if, like I said, if they have evidence no, this person did die, or this event happened which caused this tragedy, then it's oh, well, then yeah, maybe you did experience that.
I see.
Okay. You know what? I do have a story.
Oh, okay.
And it's not it's a one I do not have an explanation for. This was back when I was fairly newly married, and we had our first baby, and my wife at the time, and we were at her parents' house, and it was just the three of us, her and me and our baby, and we put our baby down for a nap, and we were in the living room, probably watching TV, and we heard crying coming from down the hall, and we kind of rolled our eyes, It was almost, rock, paper, scissors. Who's got to go take care of the baby?
Yeah.
And so I got up, walked down the hall, dead asleep.
Oh, man.
And that happened twice.
Now, it could be that you guys are both like, I don't know.
Hallucinating?
Yeah, hallucinating this together. I mean...
Yeah, shared hallucination, yeah.
Well, I mean, you're both sleep deprived. I mean, your parents.
No doubt.
You're probably thinking she's crying when maybe she's not crying, and I don't know.
Yeah. But we... It wasn't just one of us. It was both of us.
Huh.
It was like, she's not... No, she's out cold.
Well, hopefully not... Oh... So that means there's like a ghost baby in your house.
Well, we did have another one shortly after.
What?
So, but there's a lot of theories, like also in the paranormal community, where like spirits, or you can say demons, will disguise themselves as like children or babies to try to like allure people. That's another theory that floats around.
Okay.
So, I mean,
I have to ask this real fast. Sorry. Because it just popped in the chat. Has a spirit ever shown you how they died?
To me personally, I haven't. I know people that have like touched certain artifacts, and they'll like be tested. They'll give them some, say like it's, I don't know, like a spoon or something, and they'll touch it, and they'll feel like the residue of what happened, and they'll kind of tell in details what happened to that person. I know people that have done that where they didn't know anything about the background.
Okay.
They felt it, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm sensing water or like suffocation," and then like later on, they're like, "Oh, well, yeah, this person died of strangled. They were strangled to death, stuff like that." Personally, I haven't, but I've talked to people that have,
See, I don't know about that. I mean, people. I mean, how do you prove that? Because people, like, I just touched this spoon or this bowl. Oh yeah, the person connected to it died in this way. And how many people are connected with that spoon? How many people touched that spoon? It could have been like,
right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of, like I said, it's that energy, that residue.
Whose energy wins?
I see. That's something I wish I could really go into detail, but a lot of cultures say that you can put spirits in dolls, and so it kind of goes with all kind of
voodoo dolls.
I
know people who believe very firmly in the power of voodoo dolls, and not in the movie kind of thing. But
I would like to test that out. Let's test
putting
voodoo.
Putting spells into dolls.
Becky, make a voodoo doll of me and stab it. Like,
really?
Yes, that's what happens.
Oh, can we please?
That's
Mary.
Okay. Now I'm getting a little worried.
To me.
I'm getting worried. Let's stab it.
Don't I have to have something of yours to put in the doll or on the doll or whatever, like hair or your sock or something?
Okay, I'll send you something.
You have some of that bowl ball you threw up.
God. Oh my!
I'll give you that. I'll give you that hijab that the Italian Boomhauer gave me.
It's not.
I don't want to make a life-size doll of you.
I wore it. What do you want? My hair or something? Oh,
can you spare any?
Oh God!
All right, Becky. I'm gonna give you something. I want this voodoo doll. We're gonna test it out. We're gonna test out the voodoo doll theory live on the show. The worst that can ever happen. The worst that can happen is
Is SK and I have to host the show while you get better?
I was thinking about my kids. They need to find a new dad.
I'm not gonna kill you.
Okay. Well, we'll start with a hand.
You know what? I know. I will talk to somebody about what the process is, so that we can do it legitimately, right?
Yeah. Don't half-ass this one.
Right. Don't want to suddenly have the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man walking down the street.
No. So yeah, let's find someone who is experienced in voodoo dolls and talk to them. I think I might know someone, and we could see. Yeah, and we test that.
I definitely know somebody. Maybe a couple of people.
Huh.
I probably know more than I realize.
So
it's not something people tend to advertise if they're good at doing voodoo dolls.
Yeah, not really. It's not on the resume. All right, so Mack.
Yes.
Now cut you off with that thing. I'm sorry about that. It just the chat brought up a good question. I was like, I had to ask. Sorry. Tell us about some other hunting experiences you have, because your YouTube channel, you talk about different urban legends or ghost hauntings, and
like one personally. Or,
sure, personal experience is even better.
There's one thing that's kind of scarred me, and it's kind of changed the way I do things.
Awesome. I mean, sorry to hear that.
Oh no, it's nothing serious, but like, so that same haunted house with the dead children, and that I saw like my very first paranormal experience.
I mean, the house you lived in?
Yeah, the house that was built in the 30s, and a couple of kids died because it was a daycare center. There was one day it was just me by myself, and I was taking a shower in the back, and at the end of the hallway was our bathroom, and so I was taking a shower, and it was like an old kind of tub with like the shower curtains that kind of circled all around it. I don't know if that's the best way to explain it, but I was shampooing my hair, and as I was,
it was a claw tub, right?
Yeah,
right.
And so I was shampooing my hair, and then my eyes are closed, and then all of a sudden, while my eyes are closed, I can hear something like a scraping, and I was like, "What is that?" And so after I finished completely, taking off the shampoo, the curtains. It was closed. It was like halfway open, as if someone like dragged it and like opened up the curtains. And so it terrified me. They're just exposed. And so what I do is I just turn off the water real quick. I try to get out of the tub, but like I trip and fall. And so I just like look pathetic on the floor, butt naked.
I have that fear all the time.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, something's going to get me. And so then I just run out of the bathroom, go straight to my room, didn't even grab a towel. So I'm just running naked, and I just go underneath the blankets, and I just kind of just sit there in my filth with water and just kind of wait for like, I don't know, a few, like 10 minutes or so. And then I eventually went and got a towel and dried off.
Isn't it interesting how much protection we think that blankets provide?
Yeah, and I was like, I was young. And so
even as grown-ups, we're like, oh, I got a blanket. I'm okay. Just don't get anything out from under it.
Yeah, and that was my thought. And now when I take a shower, I don't close my eyes. I'll put my hair back and let it shampoo and just let it fall down in my eye, and I'm just looking straight up.
Were you the only one at home at the time?
Yeah, I was the only one at the house, and so it just, I don't know. I know, again, it's something physical. I felt it, I saw it, and like I said, to this day, every time I take a shower, I don't close my eyes.
I always thought it was the blankets too, but for me, it's not even about the blankets. It's as long as I can cover my ears, I'm okay.
Really? Cover your ears?
Yeah.
What about your eyes? Aren't you seeing?
I can close my eyes.
Oh, I guess so.
If I cover my ears, I can hear.
La 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 la.
I mean,
no, I'm not plugging them. I'm covering them.
I mean, I guess ghosts do make noises, huh? I mean,
I don't know.
We did
so what? Why do you do that?
What? Cover my ears?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And in what circumstances and how recently?
Like if I'm watching a scary movie or something and it creeps me out, I'll put my hands over my ears.
Well, you could just mute. I don't know.
No, that doesn't work.
And watching a
it's
scary
not about
movie,
the hearing thing.
But a scary movie, that's all fake. That's all it's all manufactured. It's filmed, and
it doesn't matter where I'm at. Or thunderstorms. When we have thunderstorms, I want to put my hands over my ears.
I mean, a thunderstorm is. I mean, the chance of getting struck by lightning is like what? I mean, what is the chance? I mean,
it's like getting struck by lightning. I mean, it's really rare.
Yeah.
No, and it doesn't have anything to do with that. It was just I'm scared of thunderstorms because of an incident that happened when I was a kid.
Oh.
Okay.
And so it has always freaked me out when I have when we have storms, because it's just, I guess,
it's like a
that
tornado.
feeling comes back.
Tornado came by and just took the house.
No.
Okay. I don't know.
So
I think we need to spend a show delving into Becky's psyche.
Month.
A month.
Yeah.
Shut up.
It'd be fun. All right.
I mean, who's gonna believe it though?
I'll believe it. Okay.
Damn it, Jesse.
No. Okay, Mack. Let's get serious.
Yes.
Becky. Let's get serious. Mack's doing well. Becky, you're not being serious. Okay, I've had guests on the show. I've had, I think, 2 guests on the show that claim they had a personal experience with a ghost. And when I say personal, I mean personal. Okay, so do you know anything about that?
I mean, I've read into stories, and I've read stories about it. Personally, nothing like that's happened to me.
No, but do you believe
if we're talking what I think we're talking about.
Well, yeah, we're talking about ghost sex.
That, yeah. And divorce. Ghost divorce.
Ghost sex, ghost weddings, because that has happened in Ireland, I think, and ghost divorces. I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean, speaking of Ireland, my family have claimed to hear a banshee, and there's like there's like evidence to kind of prove it, but not really. If you want to hear that story.
Oh yeah, I like banshees.
Okay, so for I know banshee is just like it's called an Irish fairy woman who like heralds this pretty nasty yell or keen, and they say if you hear it that it's pretty much a bad omen, that either something terrible is going to happen or someone you know is going to die. And so one day it was my mom had 3 other sisters, and they would do a paper route, and this was like mid 80s. And so they did a paper route. They wake up really early. They get in the back of my grandfather's truck, and they would wake up really early, tie the newspapers, and throw them in their neighborhood or their route. Well, one morning, my mother, she threw a newspaper, and instead of it hitting the doorstep, it hit the bushes right next to the door. And then all of a sudden they hear this like crazy yell. Like it's like, they don't know how to explain it. They said it was like a mix between like an animal and human. Like it was just this obscene yell that all of them heard. And so they all jumped back down into the bed of the truck. My grandfather heard it, and he just kind of stopped.
You ever heard of a cat in heat?
No, and that's what they threw it, and there was nothing.
Like that.
Like nothing. No animals came out of the bushes, no nothing. It's just they threw it, and they heard the sound, and then they finally got up and they finished the route. Well,
I mean that would freak me out. Okay,
yeah,
for sure.
So what comes around is that the next weekend they had to do that same route, and so
they go and set the paper nicely on the porch.
Yeah, and so they did it on a Saturday. And they were really scared to do it. They drive by the house with newspaper, nothing. And so the following Sunday, they had to collect the money on the route. And so then they had to go to the house and knock on the door and collect the money. And so they get there, and instead of a banshee that opened the door, it was this woman. And she said that they're no longer going to be on the paper route. And they were like, well, why aren't we? It's like, well, the man who lives in this house died this week, and so that's why.
Oh wow!
And they were like, oh,
so
Killed
wait,
by a banshee.
The banshee killed a guy?
Well, when you hear the sound, it's like I said, someone. It's just a bad omen that someone may die or something very tragic is going to happen too.
Interesting.
Whoa.
Yeah,
So
because SK brought up a good point. Because when you throw a newspaper at a house, I don't know, I was never a paper boy, but I played the game on NES, and I know that.
Oh my god!
When you throw it at the wrong house, that old woman comes at you pretty harsh. So you gotta. She looks like she screams like a banshee too. So I don't know.
Yeah, and it's just weird because like my grandparents were trying to like, oh, it could be a lechuza. I don't know if you know what a lechuza is.
Wait, Latusa or
heard of
La Llorona?
Like, yeah, that's the lady of the lake where she drowns you by a river.
Yeah, she's like crying for her kids or something.
Yeah, there's many different variants of that story as well.
Becky knows. But we did an episode on this. We did a special episode.
Oh, nice. And and so because those are the kind of, my grandma is very superstitious. She's I have like we're Spanish heritage, so we pretty much Kukui was our boogeyman. And those are like my stories, or the lechuza, the Loreona before I went to bed.
Yeah, I like that story. That scared my kids. Keep them in their bed. I tell them that every night.
Yeah.
If you make a sound, if you make even the slightest peep, La Llorona's gonna come get you.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Said it was the Kukui that was
Kukui.
Mine was worse. I got Bible stories.
Oh, shit. If you get out of bed, we're going to read you a Bible story. Oh.
No! Stop, I'll be good.
But yeah, so those are kind of like a lot of my stories. And the so are y'all more skeptical, or just kind of like you'll listen to people and kind of pick their brain a bit? Because it seems like y'all have a very like interest in, I don't know if you're leaning more towards believing or more skeptical.
Well, I like to try to be in the middle. If you listen to the show, especially the prior episodes where it was just, I guess, just me, I like to be in the middle, like to play in both fields. That sounds wrong, but just ask questions. Ask questions. Just learn. Genuinely, just try to learn. Okay. But what I like how the show has changed now is that SK definitely has more of a. It seems more.
Pragmatic is how I like to put it.
And
and I mean that. I mean, I don't know everything. There's a lot things happen that aren't explainable. I'm not going to belittle somebody because of their beliefs, but
no,
I'm not somebody who's going to jump on just out of belief.
Yes.
I want to see, I want to experience, I want to know for myself where belief plays no factor.
Yeah, I see that. And Becky, I believe, is more open-minded. She might be the most open-minded out of all of us. Yeah,
I am, but you'd still have to convince me that that it was real.
From all the stuff you told us so far, like, I don't know, like, what is the one experience that you could tell the most skeptical person to try to get them to open their mind?
That's a lot with those stories, is you're trying to prove it. And like I said, the only thing I had was that recording about the investigation, and I have a couple more that maybe I could send to you. But that one, it's just like I said, if you re-listen to it, like I said, I asked the name, and then where you're criminal, you'll hear the responses to it. And that's pretty much it. And that was weird because when I did that, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel like I was being watched. Didn't have any cold chills. And so it just kind of happened. And I think that's the only thing you can really, for a true believer, you have to have either like an EVP or a photo or a video to kind of back up what you see.
So along those lines, say somebody wanted to go out and gather up some experiences for their own edification, for their own education. They wanted to. Well, how would somebody go about doing that? What would you do?
The easiest thing that I would say that, and anyone can do this, honestly, is if you have a phone, it doesn't matter, Android, iPhone, the voice recording memo or the voice, go to a place, because like I said, it's that energy. It's always continuous, and just start asking questions. Sometimes you can ask.
Now, how do you know where those places are?
Just a lot of.
Doesn't the iPhone have like the spirit of Steve Jobs? Steve Jobs.
I don't know. No, I just, like I said, it's just a voice recording, because that's how a lot of people. it kind of starts there.
Alexas are haunted though. Alexas are definitely haunted. You heard that creepy laugh?
Yeah. Yeah. But no, just like I said, you can go to your cemetery or whatever place you feel is haunted or you heard about, and just start asking questions and playing it back. And I know eventually you'll get something, and it might take a while. It could be like the first 10 minutes. It could take an hour. Just like I said, just depends on
Does it need to be
that spirit wants to be. Do what?
Does it need to be at night?
No, honestly, it could be a day or night. And then a lot of people theorize that depending on what time the event happened, that would be the best time to do like the investigation. To say like a bridge collapsed on somebody at like 4 p.m., go around there and start asking questions. Because that event, like I said, there's so many theories out there that I read into, that this event's just reoccurring over and over again because something very traumatic happened to someone when they passed away. So
it seems like a cemetery wouldn't be a good place, because almost nobody dies at a cemetery.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that might be the problem there.
I'm sorry, the thing kind of broke.
Oh, sorry. That might be the problem there, SK. Why a cemetery is no good.
Yeah. Right.
And you know what? And now that I think about it, cemeteries would be awful for a zombie apocalypse too, because those bodies are preserved.
Are way gone. Yeah.
Either way gone or they're not. They wouldn't function. There's no way you can bring that back. Like.
And the more recent ones, they're really sealed in there tight.
Yeah. Good luck getting out of that.
Exactly. But just any kind of equipment, like everyone thinks they need to have like this expensive equipment, but you can really just use your phone and kind of get stuff. I feel like that's a lot of people. And it kind of gets you into it. And then once you start, if you do get evidence, it kind of makes you like, oh, well, what if I get this camera infrared and go around this house? Because a lot of paranormal investigators, that's just more a hobby more than it is like a job. And so it's just kind of something to do on their pastime.
So do you think the TV guys are scammers?
Ooh. Oh man, that's the question. I'm kind of like in the middle. I feel like some things could be embellished and a lot of things could be real, because what it is, it's a business. They're there to entertain you. And if
nothing happens, then that's not much of a show, right?
Exactly. And that's where my kind of spot is. So some things they probably do is legitimate, but it gets kind of lost in translation. And that's the way I kind of view it. Like, it's very entertaining and now watch it. But if nothing ever happened, then there wouldn't be a show. So maybe there's some episodes where they're like knocking outside the window. I mean, I don't know. I'm not there. But there's some things that they do catch where it's like a recording. I'm like, oh, after catching some things, like I can see that being plausible. But it's kind of hard, like I said, because it is, like I said, it is a business and it is for entertainment.
Definitely. So there's going to be aspects that they play up. I think Ghost Adventures ran into a problem when they did their live show. I don't remember the whole thing, but apparently they made a mistake. But
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I gotta look into it again. It's been a while, but so apparently Ghost Adventures did a live show I think for Halloween or something, and they during it, I think Jack, what's his name? Jack Baggins. He was
Zach Baggins.
Zach Baggins. I don't know. Zach
Baggins.
Dickhead.
He was playing around with like I think a pin light thing, jacking around with it. Be like, oh, what is this? Is this a pin light? I've never seen one of these before. And like, it's like, okay, wait a second. So you're just making these like light orbs? Come on, man.
Yeah.
and that's my other thing. Getting back to about ghosts, about like when we want to see something, I don't want to see an orb. You know, I don't want to see just this floating lens flare. Yeah, I don't need J.J. Abrams to be editing my photo or whatever. Okay, I want to see a spirit. Like if I'm looking for a ghost, I want a ghost kid or a ghost teenager to just flick me off. Because I tell you what, there's been enough smart ass teenagers that died. Okay, you think there'd be a lot more smart ass teenagers running around flicking people off. You know, being assholes to everybody.
Like that famous photo of that ghost child in the Amityville house.
Yeah,
where like there's no one there. Like I think that's what everybody wants, and that would be ideal. I mean, but a lot of people.
I'll come back and haunt you, Jesse. I promise.
Well, that's probably going to happen, Becky.
How soon?
I believe that. I mean, I would think to lure ghosts because if it is the continued energy just living on, it would be the same thing that lured them when they were living, which would be if you're trying to lure like let's say a 30-something-year-old beer guzzler, just put on some NFL, have like a 12-pack
some
there,
cheerleaders.
Yeah, and they'd be popping some brewskis with you. You know,
that's what I kind of feel. And the thing that kind of gets me though in these shows when they go to like other countries and these ghosts talk in English. That's what trips me out. Because I don't think, you know, like I said, like I'm skeptical, but also open-minded to everything. Like I said, I'll listen to anyone's story because I love it. But you kind of have to go, like you said earlier, pragmatically in order to.
Well, it's hard to get a translator. It's hard to get a translator for ghosts. You know, you just assume they're speaking English.
But
I know we joke around a lot on this show, and there's some people in the chat probably like take it very seriously. I'm not joking to mock it. I'm just joking because it is kind of funny at times. There's some silly things about it. But then there's people who claim this really seen things. And, you know, you say you really saw something. I can't tell you that you didn't see what you saw. You know, it could be, I could try to like, maybe it could have been this. Maybe it could have been that. I don't know. I wasn't there. Yeah. You know? Okay.
Yeah, I'm the exact same way. And, you know, comedy is a way to kind of, you know, diffuse a topic we don't understand or, you know, and not to like insult people. Yeah. Like I said, I feel like we want to know what happened. It's very interesting, and like I said, my only advice that I would take is for y'all and whoever's listening is to just take your phone and go to a haunted place with permission. Don't be going to these places
with permission.
Like,
that's right.
Going to someone's house, be like, I'm going to look for a ghost real quick.
You could be giving somebody else an experience.
Yeah, well, because there's some places, you know, if you trespass, you know, it's government property, so you don't want to get a felony for, you know, trying to look for ghosts.
Yeah,
right.
Deadman
get a podcast. Make it worthwhile.
Yeah, it's just like that. I mean, that's really hard to explain to employers and people. That's why you have a. But yeah, like just take your phone. And just start asking questions. Like you'll feel silly. You'll feel like, why am I doing this? And then play it back. But I guarantee you that at least you'll get something eventually. Like I can't guarantee that it'll happen right away, but I know that if that residual energy is still strong in whatever area you're in, you more than likely get something.
Hell,
and that's honestly,
yeah. You know,
that's honestly that's the only thing that I can get if you want content.
What I used to do when I was a kid, you know, just ride my bike around, just go to what looked like an abandoned house. I thought it was abandoned. I thought it was an abandoned house. Next thing I realized, I'm getting a lecture about breaking and entering. I'm like, I thought it was abandoned.
Exactly. So be smart about where you decide to go.
And for the record, the Deadman Stone podcast is not advocating for breaking into anyone's home or anything like that. Don't trespass. My attorney is advising me that I gotta play right about that. Well,
exactly what I said.
Well, Mac, we're kind of over on time. There's one question I like to ask everybody to keep it horror related at one point. What's your favorite horror movie and why?
Horror movie?
Yeah.
I would say I'm kind of conflicted on two right now. Like growing up, I really liked American Werewolf in London by John Landis because it was horror. It wasn't really that scary, but it had elements of comedy mixed in with horror, and I feel like they did that right. A movie currently that I really enjoy and is on Netflix is The Ritual. I really enjoyed.
Wait, that's the one with the British guys, right? They're
yeah. So they go.
Okay. Yeah.
They go in the forest.
Yeah, that was cool.
I liked it more for the story aspect. Like it had horror elements, but it wasn't totally scary like say like The Exorcist. But it was a very original story to me, and I loved it.
Exorcist wasn't scary.
Oh, this Exorcist terrified me as a child. I saw that when I was like 7.
Oh well, okay.
That's why. But you watch it now, and you hear your mother sucks cocks in hell. I'll be like,
yeah, this
is a comedy, right?
Probably.
Very vulgar, yeah.
But The Ritual, man, I recently watched that. I was like, man, there was a point in that movie where I was like, okay, the comedic elements here, the banter between the guys that are there, this could, if you replaced them with like the Trailer Park Boys, I think the movie would be a little bit better. I'm just saying, it's a cool movie, but I'm just saying, throwing the Trailer Park Boys in there, and you got yourselves I don't know, you got yourself a crossover. I think it would work.
The banters definitely makes it.
Yeah, because the guy who gets his legs all fucked up, he could easily be replaced by Bubbles. I don't know if anyone here watched Trailer Park Boys.
They're very similar.
Yeah. And you have the one guy who's tries to be all macho. That could be shit, what's his name? Julian, right? Julian.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
But yeah, those are definitely movies. I like movies or horror movies that have like a good story to tell. Like I would say even The Conjuring's up there as well. I really like the way they presented it. Kind of like that paranormal element. Again, it's really hard to scare people with ghosts and demons and stuff like that.
Were you a fan of the Paranormal Activity films?
Oh my goodness! So I liked where it started off, and then it just kind of got a little too crazy with the story. It seemed because it didn't take them that much to make it, and it made a lot of money. So like, oh, let's just keep doing these movies, and then I feel like they kind of rushed the story and didn't really have a satisfying ending at all. But the first one, I mean, it's pretty good. It wasn't. It was very. I mean, the scariest part, I guess, would be like the Ouija part, or maybe the ending of the movie. But it's very subtle, and I guess that's what they're kind of going for. It's stuff like that. People do hear noises like that around their house, and that's what made it like scary because it's a little bit more relatable.
Yeah.
But like I said, as I got into it, the third, fourth, whatever, 17, whatever one they're on now, it's like it's no longer that original story. They just kind of see how long we can take this, I guess.
Yeah. I can't believe they're still making versions. They just need to stop. But I guess if it's making money, they're not going to. All right. Well, Mackie Boy, Big Mac, mac and cheese.
Yes.
sorry. Max Paranormal. All right. Before you go, where can people find you? Where can people find your work?
Just go to YouTube, type in Max Paranormal. And if you have a true story, a paranormal story, just send it to me on my Twitter at Max Paranormal, and you'll find me. And
all right.
We'll just kind of talk and, get on the channel.
All right. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep you connected. I want to stay connected with you and touch base with you. If I ever run into a story that I think is like bullshit, I want to bring you on and be like, hey, I got a paranormal guy. He can talk to you about this story.
Right.
Okay. Anyway,
yeah, that sounds good. I love it.
It's been great having you on. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you for watching the show. Please give it a thumbs up, share it around. What is this podcast? We talk about horror, talk about writing. Today we talked about paranormal stuff because our guest was all about
buttholes.
Paranormal stuff, chocolate buttholes, bear spray, horrible covers,
voodoo dolls.
It's a variety show. You never know what you're really going to get. Okay, but it's gonna be,
how crazy Becky is.
Yeah,
that's a constant.
All right. Thank you so much for sticking around watching. Let us know what you think in the comment section as well. Y'all take it easy.
Bye.